G'day guys, Disney Dave coming at you once again from Down Under with another installment of Behind the Classics. Today we take a look at the 32nd film in the Walt Disney Animation Classic canon. It's a movie that was looked upon as the studio's B movie during production. The absolute underdog that went on to become one of the greatest animated masterpieces of all time. Released in 1994, it is of course The Lion King. The idea for The Lion King, Disney's first animated film with an original story, traces its roots back to an idea concocted by then senior executives Jeffrey Katzenberg, Roy E. Disney and Peter Schneider in 1988. The idea was simply for a film set in the African savannah. Katzenberg, for one, was enthralled with the idea and immediately began forming a story for the film, which was initially based in part on his life. Katzenberg ordered writers to begin work on a screenplay, and over the next few years the film went through various different drafts and versions, including a number of screenplays written by Linda Wolverton, who had provided the first screenplay for Beauty and the Beast. With various writers and producers were moved on and off the project, even after extensive research trips to Africa, Beauty and the Beast producer Don Hahn joined the team in 1992. When Hahn arrived on the scene, he found the film to be lacking direction and a clear theme. Going back to the drawing board, Hahn realised that the theme of the movie should be leaving childhood and facing up to the realities of the world. Upon this realisation, Hahn asked for a retool of the story and a new screenplay starting from scratch. In this new draft, writers drew inspiration from the stories of Joseph and Moses in the Bible and from William Shakespeare's Hamlet. From the very beginning, The Lion King was not always destined for the greatness it eventually reached. It was in fact an underdog. For at that moment in time, Disney were also working on another feature, which everyone at the studio believed would be their next smash hit. It was, of course, Pocahontas. Because of everyone's infatuation with Pocahontas, and the general consensus around the studio that The Lion King story wasn't very good, and wouldn't be a movie anyone wanted to see, all the studio's head animators and designers opted to work on that project, with most leading animators assigned to The Lion King having yet to undertake any major work supervising a character. So The Lion King became the studio's B movie, the one they were happy to play second fiddle to their next masterpiece, Pocahontas. Yet despite those who had their doubts about the film, the creative team behind its development certainly never let this hinder or depreciate their work. With the film, animators continued to push the envelope with 3D animation, revolutionising it once again. The Wildebeest Stampede sequence, which for the first time used randomised 3D characters, took animators and technicians 5 years to develop. And much like Beauty and the Beast, the artists also used the CAP system to simulate camera movements and to help colouring, lighting and special effects. Yet there was also an aura of classic Disney around the studio, with animators not yet ready or able to fully let go of traditional hand-drawn animation. And just as during the productions of Bambi and Lady and the Tramp decades earlier, real animals were brought into the studio for the animators to study. As Lion King's production drew on and on, it began to draw more praise from within the Disney camp, while attracting big-name talent like Elton John, James Earl Jones, Matthew Broderick, Jeremy Irons, and Nathan Lane. The film became so big that the production budget ballooned to almost $25 million more than that of Pocahontas. Upon release, the underdog that was The Lion King was highly praised by critics and audiences, who embraced the movie and its tie-in merchandise, which made Disney $1 billion in 1994 alone. All in all, the movie's worldwide box office takings came to a total of $968.5 million, making it the highest grossing traditionally animated movie of all time, and the highest grossing movie of 1994. On the other hand, the studio's surefire hit that was Pocahontas only managed to rake in $346.1 million and was met with mixed reviews upon release the following year. Not only did audiences fall in love with The Lion King, but so did critics, who continued to praise Disney well into the later years of its renaissance. While the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature wouldn't be introduced for another 7 years, The Lion King still managed to garner 4 Academy Award nominations for its achievements in music. The film walked away with 2 Oscars in hand, one to Hans Zimmer for Best Music Original Score, and one to Elton John and Tim Rice's Can You Feel the Love Tonight for Best Music Original Song. John and Rice were also nominated for Circle of Life and Hakuna Matata. The movie also won in both same categories at the Golden Globes, in addition to a win for Best Picture, Musical or Comedy. and a further nomination for John and Rice. So successful, The Lion King also inspired a spectacular musical, directed and designed by master artist Julie Taymor, which opened on Broadway in 1997. As of 2017, celebrating its 20th anniversary and having made over $1 billion, the show has become the third longest running and the highest grossing production in Broadway history. The show opened in London's West End in 1999 and also continues to play, while continuing to travel the globe annually. I personally adore absolutely everything about the movie, from the beautiful colours and animated landscapes of the African savannah to those wonderfully layered characters, be they inspiring, charming, funny, or frightening. And of course, one cannot look past the movie's incredibly touching soundtrack, a spectacular array of music, combining Tim Rice and Elton John's upbeat songs, inspired by those from The Jungle Book, Hans Zimmer's hauntingly beautiful score, and the life-affirming traditional Afrikaans music by Labo M. Out of any other Disney movie, The Lion King is the one that grabs me by the nostalgia more than any other. I strangely still have memories of that very first screening when I was only 3 years old, of being overjoyed by the musical sequences, awed by the amazing animation coming to life on the big screen, and being frightened like I'd never been before when the terrifying Scar slinked onto the screen. These are feelings I still feel when I watch The Lion King to this day. From the opening frames of the film and the opening refrain of Circle of Life, I can feel my childhood rushing back to me. And without fail, the tears are always flowing within the film's opening seconds as the bright yellow sun rises over the deep red African savannah. The Lion King is what memories are truly made of. The movie is a pure delight and, dare I say, the roots that my lifelong love for Disney animation can be traced back to. And in all fairness, who doesn't love an underdog story? Or should I say, an underlion story? I'm sorry, I won't do that. Thank you for joining me for this installment of Behind the Classics. If you've enjoyed this mini documentation and would like to join me for future installments, to make sure you keep up to date, please, after the jump, hit subscribe. Thank you once again for watching, and to absolutely everybody out there, I hope you have a magical day.